We are 3 days out from the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. What's up everybody, welcome back to a brand new day. I think that we can literally start counting the hours when the game comes out. But in the meantime, let's talk about a really important topic, and that is what exactly can you do outside of the main story in the open world of Cyberpunk 2077. I think that this is on everybody's mind, especially following all of the leaks that we had in the past few days. Well, let's just say that you will feel quite overwhelmed even in the first few hours of the game by the sheer amount of things to do at any given time. This includes side jobs, random events, underground fights, car chases, and a ton more. So let's dive right into it, and as always, if you enjoyed this at any point, don't forget to leave a thumbs up on it. Now let's begin with probably the next in chain in terms of narrative importance following the main storyline, and these are going to be your side jobs, and this is going to be the main way to further interact with the various characters, gangs, and the world of Cyberpunk 2077. It seems that CDPR has once again made side quests a crucial part of the game, and similarly to The Witcher 3 style, some of them might even feel like fully blown main quests themselves, with likely important narrative choices to be made, so you might want to be careful with that. You'll mostly uncover these through simply progressing through the main plotline, exploring the world of Cyberpunk, and of course interacting with the various characters and gangs of Night City. Once you do that, you can dive deeper into their daily lives and motivations, help them out, and even form powerful relationships that could benefit you in more than one way. Now, it's not to say that you can become a fully fledged gang member, by the way, and you cannot join any of the handful of gangs that exist in Night City, but on the other hand, this does open up a very interesting kind of opportunity that you can't get otherwise, and that is the possibility of working for all of them, since obviously you are a merc for hire, so you do the job for the one that pays you the most. Now, doing this work will also prove useful for other kinds of reasons, including items and rewards that you only get from doing such missions, and it's been reported that much of the more powerful items are locked behind doing these side narratives that prove to be extremely rewarding, especially for all of those completionists out there. While the exact number of total side jobs isn't known yet, what is known is that it significantly adds to your total playtime, especially if you are going to go for a completionist kind of run. So the story of Cyberpunk 2077 was reported to be slightly shorter than of Witcher 3, but at the same time the side content will keep you a lot more busier, way over the 100-hour mark, before you even get close to fully completing the game. It's also likely the main way in which you will form relationships with the romanceable characters that exist in Cyberpunk 2077. So if there's any character that you had in mind, completing side objectives and interacting more with that character and picking the right dialogue options will get you closer to that result. This brings us to the second type of side content, which are the street stories. Now these will be somewhat similar to the side jobs, though on a much smaller scale, though they still will retain a feel of importance, in the sense that yes, they are minor activities, they do not involve advanced cinematic storytelling, but they are there for you to further explore the world of Cyberpunk and level up your character further. According to CD Projekt Red, there's over 75 street stories handcrafted by a team about 5 times larger than of Witcher 3's similar design team, and they also seem to not be automatically generated if you were fearing that, and they are all custom made and as such will feel quite unique from one another, even though you might still encounter similar kinds of objectives or maybe even mechanics between these, since obviously there's quite a few of them. But there's at least a few types of these street stories that we do know of as of yet, including guns for hire, search and recover, thievery, merc needed, and even ways to get involved with the NCPD in their fight against crime in Night City. This brings us to one of the examples. So yes, you can answer an NCPD call, for example, for a crime-related activity that might be happening around you. Like for example, you might be running into a bad type of neighborhood and there is gang activity nearby that you are requested to go ahead and take on. Of course, you can refuse these or you can take them on, but if you do take them on, be prepared to be met with a ton of retaliation, and of course they will not go down easily, which is why you will probably want to get equipped or be ready for when this happens. Another one is the merc kind of job or side hustle that you can go ahead and do, and this usually involves pretty simple basic kind of stuff, usually also involving criminals and high value targets. For example, you might run into a mission that asks you to escort a high value target that might have a gang bounty on their head and they need to leave the city right away. If you pull that off successfully without getting detected by the enemies, you can complete the mission easily, but otherwise be prepared to meet a ton of obstacles on the way, with of course the gangs being all over you and trying to get their target or even killing it. So this is kind of like your main objective, trying to avoid your target getting killed and bringing it to your destination. Again, street stories seem to have at least some connection to street vendors, and it's likely going to be the main way you're going to progress your street cred as, which in turn will provide additional rewards that will further progress your character. In fact, you will definitely want to increase your reputation to gain access to more powerful items at the various city vendors, such as for example interesting upgrades or very powerful weapons that, you know, kind of exceed the ones that you usually discover otherwise. And this also brings us to the next set of other activities. Of course, this includes the more major ones, but there's also more minor ones that you can still do in Night City, and it probably doesn't even begin to scratch the surface. Now, we're gonna name these training activities because basically that is kind of what you're doing. You're training or you're using one skill in a way or another. One of them that you've likely seen in many of the trailers are the fighting bots or the underground fist fights. It's one of the activities where you will basically fight various robot kind of enemies and possibly different other ones as well, using only your trusty fists. If you're familiar with Witcher 3's Fists of Fury challenge chain, this kind of sounds similar to that, as in you go throughout the city, you encounter these challenges, go in a fist fight with the various opponents, and if you win, you progress through the next one and you open up a new one in the chain, all the way up with its culminating big fight at the end of it, which is likely going to provide a special reward as well as a special achievement similar to the ultimate master brawler in Witcher 3. On the same note, we have another similar one on the shooting range, but this time you're basically taking out this challenge using your own guns. Not much gameplay out there unfortunately, but we do know it is reminding us quite a bit of the shooting ranges from GTA games. Even though I kinda hate the comparison with GTA, there are still a ton of parallels to be made. Just like in the case of the fighting bot challenge, this is also intended to provide players with additional ways to level up your own skills. If you were not aware, you can level up your skills further than just investing points into them, so eventually you will want to take part in at least a few of these. Finally, we have the car races. Now again, we didn't see too much of this, even though we did see quite a bit of driving around and using your vehicles for driving purposes. So it seems that this is the type of challenge that will definitely put your driving skills to the test, though not much about it is known. What we do know is that the game features a really extensive set of vehicles with all different kinds of specs and ranges, so honestly it sounds very exciting to go ahead and use your current vehicle or maybe try to get a really awesome one to perform well in these challenges. Of course, there's going to probably be more, including hacking minigames that were talked about in the past, but again, we are just about 3 days away from the release of Cyberpunk, so we will cover these more once the game comes out. But this is it with today's video. Now let me know down below what is the first thing that you will do in Cyberpunk 2077 once you get your hands on it. Like, will you go ahead and do some open world exploration? Will you start driving around? Or will you continue doing the main story, and once you're deep into it, will you only then go in and dive into the other side activities? Let me know down below, and as well in the meantime also don't forget to subscribe and activate that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.